Third President of the United States. Thomas Jefferson, 1801 to 1809. The names, biographies, and achievements of the Presidents of the United States since its founding. We continue the third President of the United States of America. Thomas Jefferson, 1801 to 1809. Part 5. Jefferson helped popularize the Neo-Palladian style in the United States, utilizing designs for the Virginia State Capitol, the University of Virginia, Monticello, and others. It has been speculated that he was inspired by the Château de Rastignac in southwest France, the plans of which he saw during his ambassadorship, to convince the architect of the White House to modify the south portico to resemble the chateau. In the field of archaeology, in 1784, Jefferson, using the trench method, started excavating several Native American burial mounds in Virginia. His excavations were prompted by the mound builder's question, and his careful methods allowed him to witness the stratigraphic layout, the various human remains, and other artifacts inside the mound. The evidence present at the site granted him enough insight to admit that he saw no reason why the ancestors of the present-day Native Americans could not have raised those mounds. He was interested in birds and wine, and was a noted gourmet. As a naturalist, he was fascinated by the Natural Bridge geological formation, and in 1774 successfully acquired the bridge by a grant from George III. Jefferson was a member of the American Philosophical Society for 35 years, beginning in 1780. Through the society, he advanced the sciences and Enlightenment ideals, emphasizing that knowledge of science reinforced and extended freedom. His notes on the state of Virginia was written in part as a contribution to the society. He became the Society's third president on March 3, 1797, a few months after he was elected Vice President of the United States. In accepting, Jefferson stated, "I feel no qualification for this distinguished post but a sincere zeal for all the objects of our institution and an ardent desire to see knowledge so disseminated through the mass of mankind that it may at length reach even the extremes of society, beggars and kings." On March 10, 1797, Thomas Jefferson gave a lecture, later published as a paper in 1799, which reported on the skeletal remains of an extinct large sloth, which he named Megalonyx, unearthed by saltpeter workers from a cave in what is now Monroe County, West Virginia. Jefferson is considered to be a pioneer of scientific paleontology research in North America. Jefferson served as APS president for the next 18 years, including through both terms of his presidency. He introduced Meriwether Lewis to the society, where various scientists tutored him in preparation for the Lewis and Clark expedition. He resigned on January 20, 1815, but remained active through correspondence. Jefferson had a lifelong interest in linguistics, and could speak, read, and write in a number of languages, including French, Greek, Italian, and German. In his early years, he excelled in classical languages. Jefferson later came to regard Greek as the perfect language as expressed in its laws and philosophy. While attending the College of William and Mary, he taught himself Italian. Here, Jefferson first became familiar with the Anglo-Saxon language, studying it in a linguistic and philosophical capacity. He owned 17 volumes of Anglo-Saxon texts and grammar and later wrote an essay on the Anglo-Saxon language. Jefferson claimed to have taught himself Spanish during his 19-day journey to France, using only a grammar guide and a copy of Don Quixote. Linguistics played a significant role in how Jefferson modeled and expressed political and philosophical ideas. He believed that the study of ancient languages was essential in understanding the roots of modern language. Jefferson criticized language purists and supported the introduction of neologisms to English, foreseeing the emergence of an American dialect. He described the Académie Française, a body designated to regulate the French language, as an endeavor to arrest the progress of their language. He collected and understood a number of American Indian vocabularies and instructed Lewis and Clark to record and collect various Indian languages during their expedition. When Jefferson moved from Washington after his presidency, he took 50 Native American vocabulary lists back to Monticello along with the rest of his possessions. Somewhere along the journey, a thief stole the heavy chest, thinking it was full of valuables, but its contents were dumped into the James River when the thief discovered it was only filled with papers. 30 years of collecting were lost, with only a few fragments rescued from the muddy banks of the river. Jefferson was not an outstanding orator and preferred to communicate through writing or remain silent if possible. Instead of delivering his State of the Union addresses himself, Jefferson wrote the annual messages and sent a representative to read them aloud in Congress. This started a tradition that continued until 1913, when President Woodrow Wilson chose to deliver his own State of the Union address. Jefferson invented many small practical devices and improved contemporary inventions, including a revolving bookstand and a great clock powered by the gravitational pull on cannonballs. He improved the pedometer, the polygraph, a device for duplicating writing, and the moldboard plow, an idea he never patented and gave to posterity. Jefferson can also be credited as the creator of the swivel chair, the first of which he created and used to write much of the Declaration of Independence. He first opposed patents but later supported them. In 1790 to 1793, as Secretary of State, he was the ex officio head of the three-person Patent Review Board. He drafted reforms of U.S. patent law which led to him being relieved of this duty in 1793, and also drastically changed the patent system. As minister to France, Jefferson was impressed by the military standardization program known as the Système Gribeauval, and initiated a program as president to develop interchangeable parts for firearms. For his inventiveness and ingenuity, he received an honorary Doctor of Law degree from Harvard University. Jefferson is seen as an icon of individual liberty, democracy, and republicanism, hailed as the author of the Declaration of Independence, an architect of the American Revolution, and a Renaissance man who promoted science and scholarship. The participatory democracy and expanded suffrage he championed defined his era and became a standard for later generations. Meacham opined that Jefferson was the most influential figure of the Democratic Republic in its first half-century, succeeded by presidential adherents James Madison, James Monroe, Andrew Jackson, and Martin Van Buren. The Siena Research Institute poll of presidential scholars, begun in 1982, has consistently ranked Jefferson as one of the 5 best U.S. presidents, and a 2015 Brookings Institution poll of American Political Science Association members ranked him as the 5th greatest president. Jefferson has been memorialized with buildings, sculptures, postage, and currency. In the 1920s, Jefferson, together with George Washington, Theodore Roosevelt, and Abraham Lincoln, was chosen by sculptor Gutzon Borglum and approved by President Calvin Coolidge to be depicted in a stone national memorial at Mount Rushmore in the Black Hills of South Dakota. The Jefferson Memorial was dedicated in Washington, D.C., in 1943, on the 200th anniversary of Jefferson's birth. The interior of the memorial includes a 19-foot, 6 meters, statue of Jefferson by Rudolph Evans and engravings of passages from Jefferson's writings. Most prominent among these passages are the words inscribed around the Jefferson Memorial. "I have sworn upon the altar of God eternal hostility against every form of tyranny over the mind of man," a quote from Jefferson's September 23, 1800, letter to Benjamin Rush. In October 2021, in response to lobbying, the New York City Public Design Commission voted unanimously to remove the plaster model of the statue of Jefferson that currently stands in the United States Capitol Rotunda from the chamber of the New York City Council, where it had been for more than a century, due to him fathering children with people he enslaved. The statue was taken down the next month. I stop at this point today. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and keep exploring the world's incredible stories. Soon we will publish the 4th President of the United States of America, James Madison, 1809 to 1817. Thank you for watching.